Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for the movie Justice League Dark, the new DC animated film. So let's start talking about this movie. Of course, with my movie reviews, I do a non-spoiler portion and then a spoiler portion. So today, the movie was released digitally. In a couple of weeks, it will be released on DVD, depending on how you want to watch it. But it is on iTunes and other digital platforms right now. But what is this movie about? First of all, it's called Justice League Dark, so of course you got some Justice League members in this movie. So you have the return of New 52 Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. You didn't really get to see these characters, but Martian Manhunter was there, Aquaman, Hawkman, and Jon Stewart had a couple speaking roles. But the main characters of this movie is the Justice League Dark, which is Constantine, Zatanna, you have Deadman, and a couple other characters show up in the movie. So if you read the comic Justice League Dark, it's a lot of those characters. And they have to deal with these civilians being used by magic and seeing demons and killing people and going crazy. So they have to figure out who's doing this, and that's the whole journey of the movie, and they of course have the help of Batman. So Batman is a big part of the movie. So what did I think of the film? First of all, I want to give a little, note that I'm not a huge fan of the dark side of the DC universe. I didn't really read much of Justice League Dark, so I didn't really have any expectations going into the movie, even though I know a ton of people were excited about this, especially because Matt Ryan was reprising his role as Constantine, and Constantine was the star of this movie. But as someone that, not really interested in this side of the universe, I had fun with the movie. I liked it. I thought it introduced the characters pretty well, especially in the beginning. I think the best part of this movie, surprisingly, was the beginning because of how neat it was. It really introduced the whole point of the film very well. I thought the Justice League weren't, as forced as they could have been. They felt somewhat organic in the movie. Did Batman really need to be with the Justice League Dark? I don't know, but the way it happened, it was organic, and I liked that, so I enjoyed that aspect. And then the two characters I enjoy the most here are the characters you should enjoy the most, which was Constantine and Zatanna. And especially Zatanna, I think she surprised me a lot. There were points in the voice acting with Zatanna that I felt iffy on, even though I really enjoyed the character. And I think that was more because of the character design, because the voice acting is kind of light, but then goes into this rustier voice a bit, like it tries to go a little rustier, and then I think a lighter voice would have, I think that worked more for Zatanna with her personality and exactly why she uses magic. But then you have the character design, which is a little bit darker, so I think that was the reason I wasn't, sold on the voice acting, because I don't know if it really fit her New 52 appearance, but maybe that was more towards the actual character design more than the voice acting, but they just didn't really work together. But other than that, I thought Zatanna was the best character in this movie and definitely had the most interesting story, especially towards the later half of the movie. She has a really big scene, which was my favorite scene of the movie. And then Matt Ryan as Constantine, if you enjoy his character, you're going to enjoy his character here. He's sarcastic, he's likable, and he's a good lead for this movie because he's so nonchalant about how much he knows about magic, which is a lot of fun. He did the same thing in Arrow, and I'm guessing he did a lot of that in the TV show. I only seen the pilot, so I can't tell you. But I like that, and I like how Matt Ryan portrays that with his character. And even though it's an animated film, I think he worked well with the animation, and obviously with live action TV, you have to rely on your facial expressions and your movement, but with animation, you're only relying on your voice. And I think this converted really well, where some of the CW Seed shows, where we see the actors from live action convert to animation, didn't work as well as it did here. So I'm glad that worked well. Now, the complaints I had with the movie is there was a predictable ending. I'll say the villain was pretty predictable, and in a weird way, this movie was too long. I think this could have been a lot better if it was like a TV special, like a 50-minute movie or a 45-minute to 50-minute TV movie, or an episode of something like a 30-minute, solid 30-minute show, because I think the story expanded itself way too much. I didn't really find that the plot really needed this much time, and if they were gonna use this time, I think they should have used it more for learning about the characters, even though they did a good job at giving us time with the characters and learning about Deadman, learning about somewhat Zatanna. Maybe we could have used some background on Zatanna if you don't know anything about her character. Constantine could have used a backstory. I think if they focused more on that, it would have filled up time better, because obviously there's a lot of action scenes, but I started getting bored towards the movie. Like, I was like starting to pause the movie a bit. So I think the movie ended up being a little bit too long, and the plot could have been more interesting. Because in the beginning it sets up really well, where you're interested that these people are being utilized by magic, but it falls through as the movie goes on, where you're definitely more interested in the characters than you are with the actual plot. But like I said, overall, I enjoyed this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised. I won't say I became a Justice League Dark fan with this movie, but I definitely enjoyed it as a whole, and I'm glad I saw it. And I do think even if you're not a Justice League Dark fan, or you're just a casual fan of these characters, you'll have a fun time with it. I don't know if you'll watch it a billion times. I think this will probably be the only time I watch it, but I'm still glad I did. But for you Justice League Dark fans, I think you're gonna have a blast with this movie, and you will be watching it more than once, because I do think it's a nice fan movie for the people that really enjoyed that run of Justice League Dark and just enjoy these characters that usually don't get the spotlight in these type of films. So that's my non-spoiler review. I did give this movie 3.5 stars out of 5, and now we're going to move on to the spoiler portion. Spoilers, I want to talk about that awesome scene with Zatanna. I really liked Zatanna and Constantine's relationship. That was a big part of this movie that made me enjoy it. Where Constantine's a darker character and Zatanna is stronger than Constantine in some ways, but she doesn't want to harness that darkness. She likes using her magic for entertainment. And that goes back to the character design, where she has such a kind of dark character design. It didn't really fit the personality they were trying to go with, where I think they could have went the classic DC pre-New 52 top hat type thing, and that would have been more believable than the design she had here. But I love that moment in the second to last battle, where they like pretend it's the boss battle, where she just goes all out, and it's that moment between Constantine and Zatanna, where Constantine has to talk out of Zatanna killing this guy. So I really liked that moment. I thought that was cool. I would say that the last battle kind of went on for a little long time, and I think that's especially because I just didn't care about the villain. I know they're setting it up, oh look, it's Constantine's old friend, but I didn't really quite care about him because it was so predictable. Of course he was on the sidelines the whole time, that he was gonna betray them, and it was so obvious. Another complaint I have about the movie is there's too many characters. I kind of lost track by the end. I think if it was just Deadman, Zatanna, Constantine, the one appearance from Swamp Thing, and Batman, that would have been enough. But then going into Ectagon, I think that's how you pronounce his name, his character I thought was way too much to add into the film. I think that could have been totally cut out and would have saved some time for the movie. Even though the movie wasn't that long, still, for me, I got some bored in some portions, like I said. And now, lastly, talk about animation. I know that's not really a spoiler, but I like the animation overall. It's pretty similar to what we've been seeing with the other movies. There's time where facial expressions were a little stiff in the beginning, and some character designs were used over and over again from previous movies. Like, we see Cassie Sandsmark's character design in, I think, the Deadman scene, which is fun if you're a Young Justice fan. I love seeing Cassie, but now it's up to the point where I'm like, I don't think these are cameos. I think they're just leftover models that they're like, oh, we don't have any models, let's just stick Cassie there. So that's kind of the laziness in the animation, but the action was really well well done. I thought the animation overall was good, and I still really like the style. So, like I said, I gave the movie 3.5 stars. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And don't forget to check out my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter, and like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments below. Bye.